your chicken strips.
Hey, we're recording the podcast. Shut up.
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is
Morning Somewhere!
for June 13th, 2025. My name is Bernie Burns. Sitting right over there, do not call her a chicken bully, even though she's a chicken bully. Ashley Burns. Hi to Ashley, everybody.
I am an aspiring chicken bully, please.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are. Why don't you tell everybody what you did?
I've been Googling. I've been on the Googling how to bully a chicken. It's important. It's a skill I clearly need to learn because I'm having issues with one of my chickens and she needs to be bullied.
It's not just you, by the way. This doesn't affect you because our phones are in proximity to one another on a regular basis, and the internet tracks that kind of thing.
It does.
And so now, because you're searching all of this, in my opinion, very, very, very offensive, inflammatory material. I am now getting served reels on
you
how
can
to
bully
chicken
the chickens then.
How to bully chickens, and I don't want to be served that. I watched a reel yesterday of some lady kicking a chicken out of the coop in the winter at night. That chicken is doomed. That chicken
clearly caused some trouble. All right.
Yeah. I saw a picture on Reddit of somebody who their hamster got out of the cage. Apparently hamsters try to escape all the time. And there were all these great stories in it, in the comments of like hamsters that escape. And then they find
And then
them,
when
like,
they come feral, you find them 6 months later?
well, they go into, one was like, they went into my brother's room and ate all the food he left. And when we found it again, or we found it in like living in the back of a kitchen cabinet, and it was so fat and filthy. Like it just gorged itself for months. Like apparently hamsters can go rogue in your house, and then you have to find the hamster like at some point later.
It's always fun too when you hear someone who's like, oh, my snake got out.
Oh, right.
What kind of snake? This is important.
That happened to me when I was at university. I lived with about 30 fucking guys in a house. And one day, one of the guys stands up at the Monday meeting and goes, hey, guys, just heads up. My tarantula got out. So if you see it, just let me know. We're like, you don't just fucking say that and sit back down, dude. Your fucking tarantula is loose in the house?
Oh, but he's just a fuzzy guy.
That'll make you sleep easy at night. But this hamster like chewed up the carpet in the corner of the door and got out through the front door, and people were like, "Well,
look, that
rest in peace, hamster."
That hamster chose, right?
It's outside.
It chose. It's a brave explorer. My chicken.
That dead hamster. What do you think a hamster out even in a suburban neighborhood? How long do you give that hamster on its own? It's ain't a Disney movie.
I mean, how many cats are out there?
This is like the hamster version of 10 Cloverfield Lane, basically. It's like, you don't know how good you had it, pal. Anyway, enough about hamsters. What's going on with your chicken?
Okay, so one of my chickens, she's been very broody. She keeps trying to hatch eggs, and I'm explaining to her over and over again, we don't have a rooster. They're not going to hatch. And so every day I have to take her out of the coop, and then I have to close her out until nighttime. And she is clearly not very happy about that. Last night, I'm going to open the coop up so that she can go in and have a nice little rest, and I get this peck on the back of my leg.
Oh,
the chicken pecked
aggressive.
me. Yeah, I can't have that. So now I'm looking up how to bully a chicken. Apparently what you do is you grab them by the feet and hang them upside down and then hold them like a football until they just accept their fate.
Why you can't put up with a peck? Isn't that part of the deal? I get pecked all the time when I'm out there.
That's aggressive. You do?
All the time. They come at
Really?
like because they know I'll give them a bunch of mealworms if they come after me. They're like, they get my shoes. They go after my shoelaces a lot too.
Oh, they'll probably think they're worms. But in this case, I think she's just like, her little dinosaur brain was like, must kill.
Really?
Right? She has to, her little dinosaur brain wants to remove the obstacle between her and sitting peacefully on eggs for all time.
Okay, it might have been a different intensity of peck then, because the ones I get, I can clearly tell are attention pecks. Did you get like an aggressive, hurtful peck?
From behind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right? So it's like she came for me. Like
Sneak attack.
If she was a raptor, I'd be dead meat. So
What a coward.
I've got I have to reclaim my place at the top of the flock. Clearly.
What is this podcast? We have no theme for this podcast because all week long we've been talking about like Nintendo Switch. There's all this crazy world
Technology,
events, everything.
AI.
Today's our agricultural day. So you're talking about your chickens.
These are important skills because we're going to need these skills when we abandon all internet and go live in our human-only communes.
Speaking of which, I'm going to get to that in a second. There's a weird, like one of those like economic indicators that frustrates the fuck out of me. But we'll get to that when we talk about current events. There's a lot of current events in the world. But today I am leaving after this. I'm going to our local community sheep shearing event, which
That's right.
I'll be for the rest of the day. I'll be helping shear sheep and corral sheep for the rest of the day, which means there'll be a lot of posts on my story on my Instagram account of me getting rammed in the goddamn knees by full-grown sheep.
I don't know how any sheep farmers have functional knees. I just don't understand how that's possible.
Listen, lady, I'll take a chicken peck in the back all day over these fuckers. Some of these guys have some of these elder statesmen of the flock, they have some serious fucking horns. Serious.
There's one of my favorite sheep in the neighborhood is this really old grandfather ram who's had to have part of his horns sawn off so that they didn't grow into his head.
The cool one I loved was where the horns grew in such a way that he looks through his own horns.
They're like spectacles.
They coil in front of his face, but they don't go into his face and they don't block his vision. They probably, block the peripheral vision, but it almost looks like he's wearing spectacles.
Can you imagine how annoying it would be to have something partially blocking your vision that you can never get rid of? It's made of bone.
We have Highland cows. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you just can't get rid of it.
Right, that's it. That's all there is to it. That part of your vision is gone now.
Like theoretically, the Highland cows with the bangs in their face, theoretically, they could learn to go. Gotta get them out of the way. Not doing that as a sheep. The spectacles look really cool, except for the fact that most spectacles can't break your goddamn femur if you're not paying attention.
Right. Also, what's his prescription?
You remember, if you were around for the early days of the podcast, one of our early social media stars was Little Lamington, who made friends with Adam Ellis when he was over here. Adam Ellis, by the way.
Sweet little lamb.
Adam, if you want a break from all the horrible shit that's going on in the world right now, just go follow Adam Ellis
on Instagram.
Formerly of Rooster Teeth, on Instagram now. He has landed, I think, at the most perfect job in the world. He runs social media for an animal shelter. So it's just Adam Ellis and the tiniest little rescue kittens and puppies and everything else.
And he's working on finding them homes that he gets to play with them. And it's this is Adam's perfect life, I think.
100%. He is exactly where he needs to be. But he made friends with Lamington, this sheep, this little lamb, I should say, out in the field.
Yeah, sweet lamb boy.
Super sweet, would come up when you call it, would run out of the flock, was almost like a dog.
Would come hopping along going, bah.
He grew up and he still thinks he's a little lamb and having fun, and now he's a big-ass, dangerous ram.
Right, so probably later this afternoon, he's taking out your knees.
Before it used to be like, Lamington! Now it's like, look out, he's coming! It's like a fucking horror movie. I live in an A24 movie now. Me and the hamster from 10 Cloverfield Lane. We're all experiencing outdoor trauma. Anyway, so that's what I'll be doing. So check out my Instagram account later today if you want to see sheep stories.
You can see some naked sheep.
I have to get consent before I can post
knee
them.
Damage. And it's good to have something happy in the world because there's a lot of current events taking place, a lot of crazy shit happening out there.
By the way, if you want to get in good shape really fast, become one of these seasonal sheep shearers. They go around the world to different areas. And basically, you're wrestling a sheep every 30 seconds to a minute, wrestling them to the ground, putting that snake charm effect they do. And I'm not sure what that is.
Right,
I'll document that.
There's something cool that happens where the sheep just give up and accept their fate. This is what the chicken needs to do, and then we'll all be happy.
When you talk about farmer strong, these guys are farmer strong, dude. It's I can't imagine the amount of strength it takes to do that, and they do it all day. Anyway, current events. So crazy stuff going on. So where should we start? Should we start locally in the U.S., even though we're not local to there, and then go to global stuff?
Yeah. So today is Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be a very busy day in the U.S. There are, as I understand it, protests taking place in 1,500 cities. The No Kings protests.
You go to nokings.org if you want to see one that's near you. By the way, there's going to be one near you.
There's definitely one near you.
I looked at the map for that, and it was just someone just took the map of the U.S. and just colored it with a crayon, basically. There's one everywhere. Unless you live in a desert in Nevada. That's it.
Right.
There's which case 8 protests in Alaska.
In which case, you just head to Area 51 and do your thing.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you're in Washington, D.C., I guess you can go to the military parade that's happening, the 250-year Army military parade with tanks.
Trump's birthday, too.
Is that what it is? So
you can go to the Washington, D.C. Big military parade that costs $45 million in celebration of small government, Ashley. can't believe we're having military parades in 2025 in the U.S. That's fucking crazy.
I feel like there's gonna be like some sort of like subconscious thing that's all built into us that tanks at a parade means no good things.
Right. When you see tanks like on the backs of trains, like just mobilizing to a different part of the country, that always just seems like a horrible thing, right?
Right. Like a tank's not something you want to see in person. A tank is something you want to stay solidly in movies.
Well, it's one of those things. There's been no invasion of the U.S. in modern times, at least since those fucking British and Canadians calmed the fuck down. There's been no invasion on U.S. soil for essentially a foreign war in the modern era. And so tanks on U.S. streets is a weird thing. Like, we don't have a context for tanks on U.S. city streets. It's bizarre.
Just weird.
It's just weird. It's just weird. So that's what's going on in the U.S. this weekend. That's a huge preface because who knows what the fuck is going to happen in the U.S. this weekend. But what has happened in the rest of the world is there was a crash of a plane. You probably learned about this before you went to bed last night for most people. Air India crashed on a flight to London. It crashed, 30 seconds into takeoff?
Yeah, it was this terrible tragedy. This flight took off. It was leaving for London. It barely made it into the air and then crashed into a building that was housing doctors.
Yikes, really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, 242 passengers, one dude. This is a crazy thing, and I imagine it's going to be like the subject of a lot of stories in coming days, is one dude walked away. One survivor.
And he literally walked away. He walked under his own power by himself without help. I saw video footage of the guy, and he was coherent enough to where he was like telling people to get away from him because they're all, of course, trying to film him, right?
Right. And also imagine that, like, you have survived a plane crash, which you're in shock. You are probably don't even know how damaged you are at that point. And a bunch of people are just pointing cameras at you, like pointing phone cameras at you. And you're like, just let me just go away.
But one dude walked away. He was in seat 11A. And I think people are going to be talking about seat 11A for a long time now.
I think so. That's going to be it's going to become a legend probably.
Depending on the configuration of the plane. And sadly, I have an idea of the configuration of the plane because I saw this viral selfie of a family of 5. They were taking one of these happy, hey, we're going on a trip selfies. I think they were migrating to the UK after a long period. Anyway, that was supposed to be, I guess, before they took off, and then this tragedy happened. So that selfie has gone viral. Just a really sad thing.
And I think they're still trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. I think the current going theory is that the wing flaps were not fully extended, so the plane didn't get the lift it needed for a proper takeoff. But that's speculation. I think they're sending investigative teams out to find out exactly what happened. But it's I've seen some of these photos online, and my brain refused to understand what they were at first. Like, I had to stare at it extra long just to process that I was seeing a piece of fuselage embedded in a building.
So actually, though, the big story of the day, which is developing as we speak, most of you are probably waking up to this. Israel attacked overnight Iran. They attacked 6 different cities in Iran. And the justification being made for the attack, Ashley, is that they were trying to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the whole Iranian nuclear development program has been a very contentious point for a while. But interestingly, Thursday, so I guess yesterday, the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, passed a resolution, and this is for the first time in like 20 years, declaring Iran in breach of its nuclear obligations. So I assume that's what Israel is using to justify this.
This is, according to Al Jazeera, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a pre-recorded message that the strikes early on Friday were aimed at hurting Iran's nuclear infrastructure and ballistic missile factories. According to Iranian media, the commander-in-chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and the chief of staff of the Iranian military were among those killed in the Israeli attack. And Al Jazeera's reporter is reporting from Tehran, that aside from military officials, 2 top nuclear scientists were also killed in targeted assassinations.
And I guess in the theme of no one being particularly interested in de-escalation at the moment, we're assuming that there will then, as a result, be some kind of retaliatory attack or an action of some kind, probably over the weekend. So it's going to be a really busy weekend.
It's a very complex issue. It's one of those things where I personally don't want nuclear weapons to proliferate, but I can't help but notice that whole discussion is being had by the people to whom nuclear weapons have already proliferated.
Right.
So,
It's all the people who have the nukes saying no one else can have the nukes.
as we always say, when these things are taking place, by the time you wake up and listening to this, there'll probably be more concrete information, so you should check a reliable news source.
So it's been a crazy couple of days. Sounds like it's going to be probably a crazy weekend as well. So everyone stay safe if that's even a possible thing, I guess.
I feel like we should all congratulate each other for living through Thursday somehow. I mean, honestly, it's like, what do you say at this point in this world? It's just like you're here on Friday. You made it to the end of the week. You know what I mean?
Normally,
that sounds pretty dire.
Right. No, well, normally we make that as a big ha-ha joke, too. We're like, you made it to Friday.
Well, let's bring it around to some other stuff. I was talking earlier about this economic indicator, right? So one of the things that happened overnight with that is there was a huge dip in Bitcoin that took place overnight, which now it's like living around 110. I think it broke a record for spending 30 days over 100,000, which is the first time it ever did that. I mean, I think it's only been over 100 twice at this point, but it seems.
But then it settled in.
It seems to have settled in, right? And but there was a big sell-off of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency overnight, and it always baffles me because everyone when they talk about cryptocurrency, they always talk about it being something for the end of the world, and then anything that indicates like not the end of the world, but something that could lead to something that leads to the end of the world, kind of a thing. The first reaction is sell Bitcoin. It would kind of be like somebody who's a survivalist saying like, "Oh no, there's zombies in New York. Better throw out all my food." You know what I mean? It's like I don't understand the rationale behind that at all.
Yeah, it does seem like what people want it to be and what it is currently functioning as are slightly different things.
From an economic level, which I mean, I'm not trying to downplay these events at all, but it's like, what can the average person do looking at this stuff? So one of the things I'm looking at to see, like, does this make the dollar recover? Because in history, whenever there's been a major world event like this, the stock market's down, the pre-market trading is down on it. So I wonder, though, will people flee back to the dollar as they did during like COVID and things like that?
Or one of the interesting things to I guess will be, if they don't, where are they going instead?
Because have we made a big shift
with the recent, like with the tariffs and with like all that sort of market instability and lack of confidence that it's building? We have heard about people moving away from the dollar as a safe haven currency. So now we'll see if that's the case, or if people go to the dollar, or if they go somewhere else. And where is that else?
That being said, one of the first indicators we have of that is the cryptocurrency markets. They do tend to lead all of that because they're traded 24 hours a day. It's kind of like the same thing when you wake up and you hear like Asian stocks are down, right? And then that's an indicator of what could possibly happen in the US that day or in the European markets as well. But crypto running 24/7 and on the weekends when not everything else runs, then you get this leading indicator sometimes of what's about to happen.
Maybe, Bernie, what happened is everyone decided to sell off their crypto so they could help fund Spaceball 2.
Finally, lighthearted news today. I was disappointed because I went to find you after being served chicken bullying videos by our shared algorithm. I saw that Spaceballs 2 has a trailer out. It's announced, and I wanted to get your blind reaction to it, but you'd already seen it.
I was first in line, baby. So they have announced that Spaceballs 2 is officially coming, and not only is Mel Brooks back, but they're getting Bill Pullman and Rick Moranis back.
That is in that unto itself, that Rick Moranis is coming back to be in Spaceballs. Weird that he didn't come back to be in Ghostbusters, but did come back to be in Spaceballs.
Look, if Mel Brooks calls you up, you say yes, right?
Mel Brooks, by the way, 98 years old.
He's looking a very spry 98.
Amazing. He looks amazing. The last time I had seen Mel Brooks in anything like in video was during COVID, when his son Max Brooks, the World War Z guy, when he went to go see his dad during lockdown, and he was talking to him through like one of those glass patio doors. Like that was it because they were, social distancing.
So speaking of sons, though, Bill Pullman's son, Lewis Pullman, is also going to be in this movie. I don't know the form that's going to take yet. Lewis Pullman from Thunderbolts?
U.S. agent?
No.
The Sentry.
Bob.
Sentry, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So he's going to be in it as well. And they've also announced Keke Palmer in the cast. So we don't know anything about the plot. We don't know what it's going to be about. We know that like the Holy Trio is back. And then they're bringing in new talent as well. I'm so excited.
The Nepo baby thing is over, right? Like it was a thing for a long time. I feel like especially like all the publications in New York were really like down on Nepo babies, like the New Yorker, and places like that. They would always like talk about Nepo babies. It doesn't seem like it's a thing anymore. Like nobody cares.
Well, I don't know that nobody cares.
If you're literally in a project with your parent, it's over, right? And even like Jack Quaid is just like, I don't care. I'm incredibly privileged. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to deny it, but I don't think it takes away from my talent. I think that's a pretty good take.
I think he's got a very grounded take. He's like, yes, it got me into rooms I might not have been in otherwise. But it's, once you get in that room, you still have to do the work.
100%. I mean, how many times have we ever heard a story about like this famous role that you know about, somebody else was up for the role? Or you even see now, it's like when they have the auditions for the American version of The Office, people like Seth Rogen.
How do you feel about that? Like sometimes like I feel like actors who didn't get the role have some right to the privacy that they didn't get the role.
I
Like
agree with that.
It feels a little bit weird. Like I feel like I'm seeing something that I shouldn't, but not in like a fun, cheeky way. Like I'm invading their privacy.
I think if you reveal someone's audition tape, I think that's kind of shitty. It feels very unprofessional to me unless they're on board with it. I'm assuming there's some conversation that takes place. Also, I feel like it's very unprofessional to say like the part was going to go to somebody else, but they couldn't do it. So we got this person instead.
Right. Like, so we got this schmuck.
Yeah. That just feels weirdly unprofessional to me as well.
But I'm excited. I liked seeing Lewis Pullman in Thunderbolts, so I'm really interested in seeing him in what I imagine will be a very different space here.
Well, I was saying U.S. Agent because U.S. Agent is the son of someone as well. He's Kurt Russell's kid.
Right. So now we've got the holy trinity of Max Brooks, Wyatt Russell, and Lewis Pullman.
Florence Pugh.
She is? Really?
Yeah. Pepe Le Pew is her dad, right?
Good. All right. No, you're
Friday on a dad joke. Walk straight into that one.
No,
you should have seen Ashley's face light up when I said that. She's like,
"Get it!" I was like, "I had no
intriguing.
idea. What is this? Get out of here!" Oh my god!
The shift from intrigue to raw disappointment when I said that was just incredible.
Right. That's it. You are fired. You're fired. That's it. That's the end of the show for all time. I want to say a big thank you to H.J. Swales and Ryan Casey for sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/morningsomewhere. I'm going to send Burnie to play with the sheep.
Speaking of the patrons of Patreon, you are going to get on the Patreon episode this weekend a date for the beta test, which I'm just going to tell you, it's Monday. So we'll have information of when you'll be getting the login credentials that you will need in order to access the beta site for roosterteeth.com, which, fingers crossed, touch wood, all that, starts this coming Monday.
And I don't want to spoil anything.
This is your heads up.
But it's looking pretty good.
This is your heads up. So pay attention. Take a listen. It'll be a shorter one probably this week. It'll just be about that. But we're getting ready for the beta test for very early next week. Unless something happens, it will be on Monday. But it's a beta test. Stuff is supposed to happen.
Right, so, that's the whole point.
All right, well, that does it for us this week, ending June 13th, 2025. We will be back to talk to you on Monday. We hope you will be here as well.
Bye, everybody.